When I think of closures, I think of a function in a function. Today we're going to look at a couple ways to write closures in Swift. So here we are in our empty project in our main.swift file. So let's start ahead. Let's go ahead and write some code. Let's create a variable called say hello. It's going to have no parameters. It's going to return nothing. And we're going to mark our closure with two curly braces. And we're going to say print hello. Now if we print our variable, it's going to return function because we made it a function with our closure. So what we're going to do is we're going to call say hello like a function. And if we do that, we will get hello in our console. So now let's create a closure that takes no parameter but has a return value. So we'll call it my age, and we're going to have no parameter, but we're going to have a return value of integer, and we are going to set this equal to curly brackets return 18 for my age. So let's create a constant called Vessel's age, and we're going to pass our my age function in here. If we print our constant, it's going to return 18. So let's run it real quick, and in our console we'll see that it says function. Oh, my bad, I forgot to add the parentheses to define it as a function. Hit play again, and 18, just as we predicted. So now let's take it a step further and create a closure that has a parameter and a return type. So we'll call it add 2. We're going to take our value and we're going to add 2 to it. So it's going to have a parameter of type int, and it's going to return an integer. So we're going to set this equal to x, return in x plus 2. Oh, see a few errors there. Return x, I believe, and x plus 2. My bad. X in return x plus 2. I always mix up the in and returns, but that's fine. So we're going to take our variable x, and whatever it is, we're going to add 2 to it. So now let's create a variable called the sum, and we're going to pass in our add2 function, and we're going to pass in 8. So in theory, this should return 10. So let's see if that works. Let's print our sum variable, and sure enough, it returns 10. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go create an array. Let's call it people, and we're going to name people Fred, George, Lenny, Alice, and I think that's enough people. So as you know, arrays have the sort function, which sort your arrays based on the alphabet. Alphabetically, you can sort them many other ways, but typically you sort your arrays alphabetically. So here we're going to create another constant called sorted people, and we're going to say people.sort. And if you look at sort, it takes two strings and returns a boolean. So in our closure, we're going to define two strings, s1, s2, and they will be bool and return s1 is less than s2. Print sorted people. So now if we sort this, or if we print this, oh my bad, I had two of the same variables. So now if we sort this, still giving us an error here. Fix, add, parentheses. I don't know. Oh, there we go. So now if we print this, it'll give us our alphabetized array: Alice, Fred, George, and Lenny. So looking at this closure, it's pretty long. What did we do here? We created two strings, string 1, string 2, and it returns bool if the first string is has the alphabetic letters before the second word. We're going to return that item first, and so on and so forth, and all these names get passed into it. So we can actually get rid of this string declarations, and we can have Swift infer that S1 and S2 are strings, and like we predicted, it still brings out our alphabetized string. We can take this a step further and get rid of bool, because in our sort function we already assume that it's going to be a Boolean value. So run it, and it returns the alphabetized array. Now we can go even further and use shorthand arguments. So you might be wondering, what are shorthand arguments? They're usually notated by the $. So I'll show you what I mean right here. Let's delete this chunk of code, and we're going to say $0 is less than $1, which means that we're going to take our first argument. If it's less than the second argument, we're going to return that first. So let's print this, and sure enough, it works. So now what we're going to do is take it even a step further, and we're going to get rid of our shorthand arguments and the closure altogether, and just put the less than sign. And let's see if it works. And it does. And this is because the less than sign is a function in itself, and by being so, it will return our alphabetized array. So this is just a few ways that you can work with closures to basically give more functionality to your function. When I think of closures, I think, okay, we have a function. Now, what are we going to do to make this function perform as we want it to? So that's also how I kind of think of functions. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.